Cecilia Dapaah Case. EOCO to return docket to OSP over lack of evidence. And I'm going to go to citinewsroom.com and we'll read the story from there. EOCO to return docket on Cecilia Dapaah to OSP over lack of evidence. The Economic and Organized Crime Office has revealed intentions to return to the office of the Special Prosecutor the docket on former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. This follows advice from the Office of the Attorney General against the initiation of money laundering investigations into Cecilia Dapaah, citing failure by the OSP to establish evidence of corruption or corruption-related offenses. Now, addressing the media at the 14th Commonwealth Regional Conference of Heads of Anti-Corruption Agencies in Africa, Executive Director of EOCO, Mamit Yatiwa Adodankwa, insisted there was nothing her outfit could do. And I quote, "If you read the AG's advice, whatever we would have done had already been directed at the police CID. And like he said this morning, when you investigate a case and you do not find anything, we should be bold enough to come out and tell the public that for this case, even though I suspected this at the day, that wasn't what came out. We should be bold as Ghanaians." So, and I quote, "We cannot continue to be fishing like you don't even know what you're looking for. You just go about looking for something that you that you're not even sure about." So what I'm going to do is this. So what I'm going to do is that with the AG's advice, I will send a docket that we have received from the OSP to him that there is nothing in it, she stated. The Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice on May 1st advised against money laundering investigations into the affairs of the former Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Dapa, by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. All right, so you can go read that story on citinewsroom.com. Let me start with Kabete on this one.
It's sad how this matter is being handled. It's very sad. I think sometimes, with all due respect to the authorities, they forget that when we listen, we are deep thinkers. We are very deep thinkers. I mean, I don't need to be a top investigator to understand all these things that is at play.
What's the challenge with it?
Monies were found in somebody's room. I mean, if it was another person, they'll take hold of his money. You have to explain where you got the money from. Then people were calling for the authorities to act. The OSP stepped in. We all saw what he went through. He cried. You remember? And the OSP cried. He cried when he was doing his work. You think a happy man will be crying when he's doing his work? And at a point, when he took certain actions, we saw how his arm was twisted on his job. And I'm not the one who said it. He came out to speak on the matters. And at the end of the day, we looked at it from another angle. We have our mind. Look, sardonically, Ghana is handling this matter at a time when a continental, you read it. You see, sometimes we don't believe the hand of God. God has a miraculous way of working. And in some way, somebody will see who is talking about corruption. I mean, the continent is watching you. I'm sure there were some external cameras or news hunters who were capturing issues. And this is what the discussion is. When at a time when we are talking about corruption, we are hosting a continental corruption, and on that platform, you get the country flying this news out. Well, maybe God wanted other people to hear our matter. For the CSOs, we have stated our positions on this matter, and I'm sure we didn't even go to the global stage or continental stage. It is actually a meeting that coincided, and these matters have gone out already. So, well, the courts have their decisions. You remember the matter went to court, and the courts decided. the authorities have also decided on the AG, who's giving an instruction, but stating that it was not his office. The way he was quick to say that it is not about his office, but it's about the OSP's office. The OSP too, we knew his stance in the beginning. But you see, I tell you, the long arm of the law are here, can catch up with you any day. And crime or wrongdoing has no expiry date. Whatever crime or wrongdoing you commit today, it has no expiry date. It is either you think you have, escaped justice, but then justice will find you, or justice will allow you to walk, but will catch up with you at another time. But one thing they should know, which is very important, there are two courts at play. The courts, the law courts by the Constitution, and the court of public opinion. That one, you can never have power over it. My mind, what I think about what is going on, you can never influence it. The majority of the Ghanaian people are watching. The global space is watching how this money's got to the woman's room, how she's not convinced me. And as I said here, the authorities have not also convinced me. And the CSO, we are making one move to the other. We are meeting and see if I leave this place, I'm going for another corruption meeting that is organized by the Natural Resource Governance Institute at Labadi Beach Hotel. We are going to meet again, and all these matters will come up again. You see, it is the perception that when people have power, they decide to think some way, and they think that because the law itself, if the people decide not to apply it for the benefit of all, they can use their law. You see, in Africa right now, there are some presidents who are sitting in office who actually have used their law. But unfortunately, in Togo, it's legal. But are you accepting that one man and one family have been there for over 5 decades? And the young one who took over for the father is over 2 decades. He's still continuing, but they are using the law. So you see, the law itself, if you don't apply the law to benefit all, you can use the law to benefit the few. And you can use the same law to squeeze the lots. And that is why you see that, unfortunately, there's a coup d'etat in another country, and you see people who love democracy jubilating. Because the same democracy was used to squeeze them. People will use the law, and they will take your money, and they will use the law to walk free. I'm just telling you that they will take your money with the law backing them, and they will walk free if you don't decide that, look, we will look at the law very well and force people to apply. You see, the law, when you look at the Constitution, the laws are there. That's why even the judges also go and read. When the lawyers make their salient points, the judges go and do a good reading around it. Because look, as the law applies, if you sit back, another person will use one part of the law to work. But it takes the next person to find the other part of the law to take a quick stand and bring him back. Because on health grounds, somebody can walk away. But on the other look, somebody can say, look, you want to seek health, whatever, outside the country. But in Kolebu, the same service is there. Because of the crime you have committed, even though you have the money and you want to travel, we insist that we cannot wait for you to leave before we come looking for you in another country. So the same law will be applied, and that person will seek medical care here, and in the end, the laws will face the person. I'll leave this one, indeed, to the court of public opinion.
All right.
My mind is my mind.
Paul.
Gugu,
Yes.
I'm very sad. And this stems from the fact that we have anti-graft agencies who, for want of a better word, should have been acting in the interest of the state, but somehow are tilting towards the side of their appointees. Let's go back a little into history, how EOCO came into being. Somewhere in 1994, at the regime of the then president, His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, he set up what is called the Serious Fraud Office.
Yes.
Now, the mandate of that office basically was to prosecute and investigate crimes related to money laundering and what have you. Fast forward in 2010, government also decided to set up what is called Economic and Organized Crime Unit, or better known as EOCO. Again, what is the mandate of EOCO? And if, with your permission, I would just want to read. It says, monitor and investigate economic and organized crime on the authority of the Attorney General, 1. And then 2, prosecute these offenses to recover proceeds of crime and provide for related matters. And this is EOCO, per Act 804, all right? Then government again decides that, oh, despite having the Criminal Investigations Department of the police, I still want to set up what is called the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And in 2018, the act was passed, and that act is Act 959. What again is the mandate or the objective for setting up of the office? 1, to investigate and prosecute corruption cases. 2, recover the proceeds of corruption. 3, prevent corruption through anti-corruption programs, i.e. education and all of that. So combine all of these from from Serious Fraud Office to becoming EOCO, and then we having the Special Prosecutor, and then also the CID. We have a simple task to determine whether or not there was money laundering in place with regards to the monies that were found at the residence of the then Sanitation Minister, Ms. Cecilia Dapa. There was a prima facie case established by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Were monies found or not? And indeed, the evidence was there. It was confirmed that we had in excess of what, $1 million found at the 3 residences of the former Sanitation Minister. 800,000 were told belonged to her late brother's funeral contribution. All right? Then we were told that 300,000 Ghana cedis also came in as donations from her late mother's funeral. Such thoughts. And even with that, she was not able to tell us the source of the remaining $200,000. Is that not evidence enough? As Yoko, that deals with money laundering, mandated to deal with money laundering, you tell us that you do not have a case from the docket given to you by the OSP. And so following the advice of the Attorney General, you are writing back to the OSP that there's no case of money laundering, and so you are throwing it away. How ridiculous. I am just scandalized this morning when I read, in fact, when I watched the news. And forgive me, but Madam Adodankwa, she's a fantastic lady, and I was expecting her office to do us the honors of going through the mail with this particular case. And I'm sorry that I'm highly disappointed in her. Highly disappointed. Because I was hoping that with all the pieces of information gathered, with all the evidence available, she would have taken this and fight to the latter, so that the issue of corruption that is tagged to this government to a large extent, somehow will be taken off if this case was followed to the latter. But clearly, we have shown by the AG's comment and also the comments from the Yoko head that corruption is going to thrive so far as we belong to Party A or Party B. We have this information on our hand, everything established, even with the OSP and the FBI gathering all the information and presenting to you that this is what we have done. We have established that so and so monies were found. We have frozen their account. We are still at court with that. And this is what we have to show for. Please, this is your mandate. Go ahead and prosecute. And then you come back and tell me after weeks and months that, oh, there's really no case with what you've presented. We don't have the evidence, and so we cannot go ahead to prosecute. I'm sorry.
Do you think the president prejudiced this case from the very beginning when he made a comment that he made about the fact that he's confident that she will be exonerated at the end of the day?
Gogu, you have just hit the nail on the head. And every discerning Ghanaian out there could read in between the lines and know that this was politically motivated. It's clear. Because even before the OSP began its investigations, the president had come out to make such a statement that owing to her loyalty and integrity, he is confident that Cecilia Dapa will come out victorious. And it is sad that today we are witnessing its life. All right? We are living witnesses to this. That after going through months of investigations, all right, both the OSP and the FBI presenting a docket with prima facie information to the Economic and Organized Crime Organization, we are told today that all that was presented, there's virtually nothing in it. It's just hollow. It's empty.
But the EOCO also have they taken delivery of the FBI's report?
Like I mentioned,
Yeah.
it was an investigation done by the two
Yeah.
agencies,
Yeah.
both the FBI and the OSP.
Yeah.
And a single docket was presented to, EOCO, that your office is responsible for prosecuting money laundering. All right? The bit about corruption will be dealt with by the OSP, yes, but the aspect of money laundering is
under
at
the
your
purview
doorstep.
of- Yeah.
So you have to handle that. And when it was given to her, only for us to be told that, listen, what you presented, there's virtually nothing in there. And so we cannot go ahead to prosecute the lady because we don't have evidence. Guess what? And this is what? A follow-up to an advice from the mother that set up the OSP.
All right. Let's
Gogo, I hope you are getting the whole logic.
I do.
The Attorney General's office is responsible for the birth of the
OSP.
office of the Special Prosecutor.
Yes.
And that office presented a docket to the EOCO that, listen, this is what we have done, this is what we found, this is the evidence, go ahead and go through the prosecution. And then another agency under the ambit of the Attorney General says that, oh, our mother has advised that not to go ahead with the prosecution because what the younger brother brought is hollow. There's nothing in there.
All right.